Welcome back to No Nonsense, and it was no nonsense week in the Premier League. Well, uh, it's gone a bit. I think we said this a few weeks ago. It's gone a bit Stephen's Day, 1963, isn't it? I mean, the goals are. This was the ultra defensive long throws, keep it tight, 4-4-2. I mean, not actually 4-4-2, but you know what I mean. I thought we had regressed to kind of puke football, but the result seems to be more goals than ever before.
Yeah, it's an amazing swing back because, like you said, it's the set pieces. That's what it's all about. But now, it was for a while there, Arsenal learned that no one can defend these lads. But now I think all of the teams have figured out no one can defend these. So everyone is scoring every set piece non-stop. There's definitely, they need to bring in a rule about the keeper thing at corners because that is happening every 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was very, what would you say, in vogue there a few years ago about people like, especially I feel, and maybe this is just because of Man United, but it was like David De Gea. He's too weak,
It's too weak.
Look, he has to be stronger there. He has
You're
to be
not allowed to touch
stronger.
him. You're not allowed.
Now, I'm not saying this was related to Man United or David De Gea, but it felt like he was kind of, anytime the keeper was touched, it's like, you can't do that. Get off him. And it was like slowly kind of like refereed out of the game. But then in the last few years, like, well, you got to have someone on the keeper, just standing your ground, but really kind of stopping him moving.
Holding one of his arms, yeah.
Yeah, well, this is it. Just this season, is like, let's just take 3 more levels. Let's go right back to 2011 David De Gea and like grab him, And it's just like, yeah, he needs to be stronger there. Every keeper is like, no one's safe. It's just, yeah, well, look, hit the gym, get your bench up.
I think it happened to Arsenal. It happened to Crystal Palace. It definitely happened more times as well. Like it's just a hack that teams have figured out that there is literally no stopping. Because like, what's he going to do? Catch the ball? He can't move. He's being held back by 3 men.
Yeah, was it Vicario as well? I think maybe it was the Arsenal game, the set piece where maybe that was called for offside. There was something where it's kind of like, it's kind of being noticed now because it's just been ramped up so much. Like people are just like designate someone to not just stand the goalie's way, like tackle the goalie as the ball is in the air. And like I said, the referees don't have any kind of idea of what the game should be. They're just kind of told at the start of the week, like, yeah, we're changing the rules. We're doing this week. So when it happens, like, don't remember hearing anything about that. So I guess that's fine now, it's almost like the players out there are just like figuring out that they have free will almost. It's like, you could just tackle a goal. They're not going to call it because they don't have the balls to actually just call a game as they see it.
Not even just that they don't have the balls to do it. It's like they're not going to see it. There's so much going on at the corner. Like everyone's wrestling everyone. There's no one's ever going to spot it.
Yeah, and like when we was first like 10 seconds, 4 minutes in, we're talking about Man United and now VAR. But like,
Ping, ping.
yeah, and that's the episode, folks. No, I mean it's just like VAR are so petrified. They don't want to get involved with like, silly little stuff like the goalie might have been impaired there where he was going for the ball, a protected species. They're worried about woke nonsense. They read everything. They're worried about all this kind of stuff. So they're not going to interject, being like, "Oh, actually, you missed something there, ref." So yeah, I mean, speaking of refereeing and big tackles and things being let go, I guess that does bring us to the Arsenal Chelsea game. This was first versus second, and it felt like a first versus second game. It was really good, actually. It's really entertaining as for a game that's supposedly gone, or a league that's weak, or this is shy. Everything was better before. It was a really good game, really entertaining, top table clash.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of, remember a few years ago, we watched that old Arsenal United game. We were like, this is mad. There's just tackles flying everywhere. Like, they're not really worried about the rest of it. The first half, there was tackles flying in and cards being sent left or right. You just knew someone was getting sent off, but there was a real edge to the game that you don't really see anymore because normally teams are so petrified of losing the player, whereas this is just like, I don't know what it is about Chelsea, but obviously this season they get a player sent off every game, it feels like. But for years now, it's like teams just lose the head against them like all the time. There's always they just bring these mad fights out of teams.
Yeah, I think they like being the disruptor. Like obviously in the 90s and before the kind of Abramovich money came in, they were like a very good kind of cup side, and they were kind of. I guess the big thing would be get a scalp over Man United or Arsenal or Liverpool that year, even though they wouldn't win the league. It was kind of like well, they're going to come to Stamford Bridge. They're going to get a game at the very least. We're not just going to be pushovers. And like I said, they would be good in the cup and whatever. Did they win the Cup Winners' Cup? They're certainly in it at one point. I remember seeing those old clips. Yeah. But they're that kind of a team. That's kind of what their identity was in the 90s, I suppose. And obviously they came in and they won 2 leagues instantly. So you're not really the upstart. Like, Man City kind of have that as like, we're upsetting the big 6. And it's like, you're not the underdog, lads. Give it over. But I think Chelsea do have a bit of that too, where, yeah, they obviously have a lot of money and they've won, multiple leagues at this point. More leagues than Arsenal and Liverpool have in the last 20 years. But they still have this kind of thing of, oh yeah, we might be the best team ever, despite spending, €1 billion. But you think you're going to win the league, you have to get past us. I think they do enjoy that, like the battle of the bridge, which we always talk about. Where in Tottenham are going for the league. Chelsea could not win the league that year, but they're like, well, fuck me, Tottenham aren't going to win it. And if they have to,
I hate the sound of that.
yeah. But I think and this is like Diego Costa and Eden Hazard. These aren't like Chelsea boys. These are just like random players like any club. But there's something in the DNA of the club that's like, no, we're not just going to let someone come here and win the league, not in our patch. So, yeah, I think they do have a genuine shot at it. I'm not saying they're outsiders and not going to win the league this year, but I do think when Arsenal are such heavy favourites and everyone from, media personnel to podcasters like us are saying, yeah, Arsenal the only consistently good team, and you're sitting there second, you hear that. And you're thinking, yeah, well, we'll see if they could beat us at home, So it definitely had that edge of like, yeah, let's see who the best team is.
And then, like they said, it was a real twist because, I think Arsenal had 3 or 4 yellow cards in the first half, but then it was Chelsea who Caicedo just came flying in right on the shin, and he was off. And it was one of those moments where there it is. And here Arsenal will win this game, and they roll on. When teams go down to 10 men, normally they're actually better off these days. It feels like they're always more solid.
Yeah, well, I think Chelsea were the better team before they sent it off, and they did score after sending off as well. I think they were probably better on the day. So maybe for Arsenal it's like, oh, good, we can, relax a bit here. But really, that's when you needed to say up it and take them at that point when they're weak. And then Chelsea, obviously, the opposite effect. They're already kind of dominating. And then they go, right, we have to up it again. So you have the kind of opposite thing. So even though there's a man missing, it often happens when someone goes a man down. Just psychologically, one team will start trying harder, and the other team will think, well, matter of time now.
Yeah, there's only 10 of them, though. Do you know what team doesn't do that? Ireland.
Yeah. Oh, well, we know that this is our chance, our only chance. Like it was the Everton game. People like, how did I not beat Everton? 10 men. It's like, have you ever watched football before? This happens routinely, that the 10 men play better because they have to. It's not a 10 men. We had one more man than they did. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I know. It's a psychological thing. It's hard to explain. But yeah, I mean, I think the game was kind of going towards Chelsea, and then they got the goal. And maybe it was just a bit of tiredness that got Arsenal back in the game. They had a great chance at the end. I think Gyökeres was coming steaming in. And it got tipped away from his head. But yeah, I think the big story, like I say, is Caicedo coming in. There's someone has very helpfully made a fan footage. I don't know what you call it, a fail comp, but just all his touches in the game. And it was 38 minutes of Caicedo. It's Chelsea online TV, so it's not a fail comp. It's just someone who went to the match specifically to videotape to record Caicedo and all his touches, and they catch the send off.
That sounds like something you'd be arrested for in any other walk of life.
I think Beast Guy B would say it's a crime. There was a period there where people were bringing iPads into stadiums and getting them taken off them. Do you remember that? Does that ring a bell?
That does sound familiar. Yeah,
but I think eventually they went, do you know what? They just stopped it because all right. This is a bit much, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, anyway, this guy had recorded it all, and he was every tackle, every intercept, I know it was only the first 38 minutes. He might have slowed down, but he was flying the tackles, flying around the pitch, very physical. And obviously, you could tell that during the game. But just when someone has like highlighted everything he did in the game, it's like, oh, this was coming. He was on the edge here of this, and it's funny as well because like there's obviously commentary from people in the stands as well, and when he's getting sent off, it's like every game with this referee, every bloody game, as if it's you're specifically looking at him all game, it's like this bloody ref, woke as hell. It was a clear sending off. I think it's anybody who's really saying that, but the benefit of replay saying, yeah, bit harsh. Is there?
No, yeah, it was a mental tackle. But it's just the whole Chelsea getting a player sent off. It literally feels like every single game. It's crazy because like I remember this happened with Arsenal for a while under Arteta. I think when he first came, but it's the same thing. It's just like surely though, like I'm sure it's probably like the way they play is like, yeah, I want you flying in, like, yeah, dying for the ball, lads, whatever it takes. But like when you're losing a player every game, surely at some stage you have to be like, okay, relax just a small bit though. Like we don't have to do this every game. Like it must be so frustrating for Maresca.
Yeah, although like I say, I think they'd have the edge in this game, and if I guess it's ifs and buts and all that, but they were kind of getting in Arsenal's face, and they weren't getting on the ball, and the tackles going in. There's a lot of like kind of shouting at the opponent, like kind of NBA style, like.
Yeah,
I don't know who the centre back was, the replacement centre back for Arsenal, but there was one time there where Neto tried to take him on, and he just had him. He had the same pace for him, and he kind of put him out, and then he stood over him screaming, and then Neto kind of got up and like laughed and like, "What is this?" Like, man, relax. We're all theaters. Like, what are you doing here? Enzo was doing a lot of that. I think there was one where he kind of stood over Madueke, and he's like, "Yeah, that's right, yeah." It's like he was up for it. So a lot of that going on. And I think it was just like, this is Arsenal who think they're going to walk the league. We'll show them. And yeah, I don't know if you saw John Rob McHale in his podcast. He was just saying the same old stuff. Like the Arsenal, they're slowly but surely finding a way to bottle this away. They're bottlers.
Like, you have to give them a chance. They're not even close to bottling it.
Yeah, well, this is it now. If you lose this year, the other second place finishes are counted against you, and it's like, well, another loss, and you bottle league again. But yeah, I mean, look, I do feel bad for Caicedo. I mean, this isn't going to go well in this World Cup appeal, especially if you're thinking of playing that he's not the type of player card, because what's almost as worse as the tackle is his pretending to be hurt after the fact as well. Like, oh, I'm also hurt.
The most damning thing of all is, it's the same as an equally embarrassing thing.
It's the worst part.
It's the hypocrisy, and also it's equally embarrassing when you see a player like sky a shot or miss an easy chance, and they stay down like, oh, and I'm hurt too. That's why it happened.
Or like checking the turf, like, what the fuck is? Where's the groundsman? I want to talk to the groundsman. It's like, man, just a bit of accountability here. Come on. Yeah, there was. That's the one thing. Like, okay, maybe the game got out of hand a bit because both teams were bringing a lot of physicality. I think Anthony Taylor, he was the ref. He was giving out a lot of yellows, but I think, people were just getting more frustrated then. Because like there was some initial tackles that were like, "Whoa, that was a bit much," and then the next tackle gets yellow, and they're like, "Well, how is that not yellow?" It's like, because it's getting too much now, so you have to stop. It's like
it was like a warning yellow, not like that was a bad one yellow.
That was yellow for everybody, not just you, but it is just for you. And then people get more frustrated, and then they fly more to the next tackle. Well, if there's no rules, I guess there's no rules, because soccer players completely lose their head. And what you needed to do is like, I'm not to again, but I think you need to. They have the only the captains can speak to the ref kind of thing.
Yeah, which is not a rule, by the way, not implemented,
not enforced, but they should utilize it more. Rather than enforcing it, being like a teacher, be like, "Don't talk to me, you're not allowed." Like, get the two captains over and go, "Lads, I will send someone off here. That's not good for you. They're going to miss 3 games. Like, you need to have a word and say, calm this down, or I'm going to send the next person off. Okay, here it is." And then relay that to the team. Like, because if you just start giving out random yellows to random tackles and let other ones go, some get pushed over, some get tackled behind, you go, play on. And then like you got people diving and like who was this? Shabalala, who went down clutches. You know, he did get a smack in the face, but like it was he was doing that like hitting the ground. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the cartoon, like, oh my
I'm in
god, so
agony.
sore.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And Sanchez as well. I think he when Yockers came in flying into him, I think he was like, I'm going for this ball and I'm probably going to get in the face. And then he got hit in the chest and he was like, oh, my chest. It's like that didn't hurt as much as you thought it would, but you're committed to the sell. So he's like selling the contact. And it's like, yeah, like it was good intensity, but I think with that you would get people like, this would be a great opportunity to get to be sent off. And then they start doing this kind of shit. And it's like, oh man, you're ruining the physicality with this shit.
Yeah, like you said, that whole thing, you just bring the captains over, make a big scene of being like, everyone calm down. Like the captains aren't going to say it to anyone, but it's just, it also, you slow the game down a bit because you just take a few seconds, everyone stop, breathe in. I'm talking to the captains for a minute now. Okay. And here we go again. And everyone's a bit more calmed down. But like I said, when it's just like, yellow, yellow, that one's fine. Okay, another yellow. Like it's carnage then. No one knows what's going on.
Yeah, maybe even bring everybody over. If you want to make a scene, bring the entire 21 players over and the linesmen as well.
Everyone, managers, the dugout.
Oh, the managers, yeah, the team doctors, some celebrity fans, bring them all on the pitch and say, listen, this is what's going to happen. Do it over the speaker, which again, another underutilized gadget that they have, which I did see. I think he did that in the stadium for the sending off, but it wasn't broadcast on TV. Did you notice
That's
this?
weird. No, I didn't notice that.
I saw in that fan footage that Anthony Taylor was speaking. I was like, I don't remember that on the broadcast. But I guess maybe that's what they've worked out with the referees. Where the referees said, listen, I don't want to be fucking on TV every week in my,
I hate my voice.
in my voice that I hate. I don't want to be speaking about like giving or have my, decisions, poured over or replayed on M&F. I'll do it for the stadium, for the real fans, So yeah, maybe some kind of national assembly they could do in the middle, on the 12th minute. Go, all right, everybody, get down here, take a knee, like a school assembly. Yeah, but like I say, it was just in terms of a pure entertainment. Like that was a great game.
Yeah.
If you're an Arsenal fan or a Chelsea fan, maybe you're a bit disappointed, thinking we could have won that one. Like if Chelsea win that's a huge one for them. That brings them a lot closer and psychological, all the rest of it. I guess for Arsenal, you're probably thinking, well, if it wasn't for every saying, you don't have the heart of champions, But if that aside, thinking going to Chelsea away and getting a draw is like not bad. Like I think Liverpool drew with Arsenal twice last year. Like I don't think it is about the big game. I don't think it's about the person who's coming second. It's not about beating City or beating, Liverpool in Anfield. It's about not losing to Everton on a Thursday night double game week. That's where the titles are won and lost. The Aston Villas, the ones who are like good sides, not quite as good to compete for the title, but like on their day, if you already have a few injuries, they will catch you and you'll drop 2 points. I think that's where it's really won lost.
Yeah, I think it's been changed a bit by the Liverpool and City years where it was like, well, they're going to win 37 games, so you better beat them or else it's all over. It's not like that now.
Yeah, I mean, there was the years that Liverpool were probably not by much, but they were probably better than City. Player to player, you go through the squad. Like I think Mane was better than Sterling. Salah at his best was probably better than Mahrez, or who else they have on the other side? Silva, maybe Bernardo Silva. Like, you go through a player, and the games that Liverpool would win in Anfield, it was like, oh yeah, these are just irresistible. Like this is the best team in the league. But City had a better squad, and they wouldn't drop points against the Crystal Palace or whoever it is. They would always have somebody, and it might be a Kovacic or a whatever, young Phil Foden or whoever it was. It's like, damn, they've done it again. They've got another result, away at Newcastle or wherever it is, and Liverpool would drop points against other teams because they would have injuries to Henderson, and then no one would be able to come in instead of him, and you'd be bringing someone else to play left back, and it all kind of fall apart. So I think Arsenal will be happier this year because they have the strongest squad they've had for years. Listen, they draw Chelsea. they'd be more confident they were before about not losing to Villa or Bournemouth, which they have done in the past 3 years. Yeah, I mean, you'll always have that kind of bottlers tag, hanging over you from different detractors until you win it. I mean, that's just what it is. Until you win it, you're going to have that like the DNA of this team is weak.
Yeah, but it's like you can't. Like they got a probably fairly once over the last years. That was remember when they lost 3-0 to Southampton, I think it was, and it was like that was that
The
huge
3-3,
one.
yeah.
3-3, yeah, and then it just spiraled from there. That one, yeah, fair enough. But like it's a whole new team now. Do you know what I mean? Like they're totally different. Like again, like what does Gyökeres and Eze and all these lads? What do they know about Arsenal and bottling things? Like it's nothing to do with them.
Yeah, but they'll hear about it. They'll know that like they might have heard that John McKay was talking about that. Because like whoever, like you and me, but like it's like John and McKay were bottlers. No, forget about it. Like,
man, I love his
why would he say
podcast.
that? Yeah, I thought I met him before at the awards thing. He was so nice to me. Well, and anyone who's been like working in the clubs from the last 3 years, they'll all be thinking like, oh God, I hope they don't. It'll be devastating for lads if they lose again this year. Like there is a definite energy that comes with these things. But so I think until you win it, it'll be a huge relief for all those. If you see Arsenal win the league this year, you'll see them all on the pitch like absolutely relieved, more so than like,
oh, yeah.
Yes, we did it. It'd be like, oh yes, monkey off the back, And it's obviously the 20+ years that they've been since they've won it. It would be huge in all senses. But yeah, I think they have played a lot of the big teams. They played Liverpool, lost that one. Obviously, the Szoboszlai goal. City they beat, which they're still there. They won again against Fulham. I wouldn't write them off just yet. Chelsea, obviously, they've drawn Chelsea, so Tottenham and all that. But I mean, I think that they'll be the three ones: City, Chelsea, Liverpool. That's the teams that I think would have a say in this still. I know Liverpool are like Liverpool, but
it's a mad season. It's a mad, like, the league table is still probably the craziest I've ever seen it, where, like, I think Aston Villa are in the top 4 now. Remember, they couldn't score a goal for, like, 6 games in a row, it felt like. They were doing terribly. Now they're all the way up there. Like, I don't even think Liverpool are too far off, even still, after that awful run. Like, if you win a few games, you're right up there. You're right up in the mix.
Well, that's why I did say Liverpool, because they've finally gotten what they want. Arne Slot has finally listened to the people. Will he's dropped Salah, and he's put in Joe Gomez at right back, which I think was 2 big things that people wanted. Because obviously, if you're not trusting Frimpong or what's his name, Connor Bradley, and you're putting Szoboszlai, a right back, it's your best team. And then Isak also scores a goal, and a very kind of Isak type goal where he just like slots it, very effort. Like, oh, this might be a team still, and because it's not that far off, and there isn't like a solidified like top 6 or 5 teams ready, it's like they could get back into this very easily, like City last year. They had this horrendous run, but like, they got right back up to 4th in the end. So I mean, yeah, Liverpool are back to winning ways, but that's not really the story that people are talking about, which is probably the best thing for Liverpool, to be honest. That everyone's just like, yeah, whatever. There's a guy there who's cheating on the pitch, and he's done it before, and he's doing it again. That's what people are saying, Will. That's not me. That's what people are saying.
What people are saying. Look, if it's not the case, it's very unfortunate that Lucas Paqueta got sent off in what looked like the most blatant I'm trying to get sent off dissent of all time. Whenever the ref goes running away, like, right, that's that handled, and you go running after him, like, hey, I'm still talking to you. Of course you're going to get a card. Like, it's done. So it's just, of all the people for this to happen to, it's not a good look.
Yeah, because on first viewing, you think it's a tackle that he's done, and he's like annoyed at us, which you think, all right, I mean, I can see that, but it wasn't even him who tackled. I forget who it was. It was someone else. But then, like, in comes in Paqueta, Captain Retribution. Like, this will not stand, referee. I want an explanation for this. Like, it's got nothing.
Look at me when I'm talking to you. Yeah, very weird.
Throws his hand on first, and then, screams at him, shouts out, gets attention, then turns his back and throws another hand up behind him in the air. Like, fuck off for that. And then the ref comes over. He's like, "For what? What did I say? What did I do? No, you get back here and tell me what I did." And like, I think it was Curtis Jones at one point was like, "Man, you're gonna get sent off. Stop!" Like
You're going to ruin the game.
like it was only 1-0. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like the game was over 4-0.
We're losing every week, man. What are you doing? You can still beat us.
Of all teams, this is like playing a relegation team. You know what I mean? It's like this is a big 6-pointer for us. And he just goes on this rant, and the ref like pushes him away, and Bone is standing there as well for some reason, kind of like waiting for an explanation from the ref. Like really, they all should have been like pulling Paqueta away, but he kept running back. He's been, like I say, he's been held back by the opposing players, by Curtis Jones at one point. Gets free of him, runs back over to the referee. He starts, fake applauding the referee and all this. Like, honestly, if it was any player, it would like, because he had like a mental break. Is that like, why has he done that? Like, that's like, he's been, asking for that. Like,
Yeah.
everyone knows ref won't change his mind. Because it wasn't even, he was like, go to VAR and you'll see. It was more like, okay, with the tackler, he calls a free, goes, the game's gone. It's like, there wasn't even anything to there wasn't really a toss to argue there. It's like, it was a foul. Like, it was it was like a definite foul. And you might talk into 2 yellow cards. Like,
it takes a lot. Like, we mentioned, I think it was only last week we said when Dallo got the double dissent, and they never did again because they were like, do you know what? That was actually insane. That kind of ruined the game, and it was a mad thing to do. To actually still get 2 yellow cards for dissent back to back is mental. It takes so much effort. Like,
yeah, well, it's like I said, the double dissent thing was like that was their attempt to, we shouldn't take abuse from players. Like it's not fair to referees.
It's too late. Yeah, you can't just suddenly decide that though.
Well, but like this is the things. Like if this isn't the same, directive, I guess. Like, we're going to stand up for referees. You have the power to send them off. He took a lot of abuse before he did that. Do you know what I mean? So, like, they really don't want to do that for dissent because they know the backlash they'll get. But, I mean, this was just, like, nonstop. So he really left him with no choice. It was like, all right, like, this is probably bad for me if I don't send you off at this point. I will get sacked if I take this much abuse.
Well, not even just I'll get sacked, but also you have to think, just as a man, he must be like, I can't stand for this. You're making me look like a child out here.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm sure they probably brought in initially the kind of the dissent rule. It was like, this isn't fair to referees. Like, this isn't fair to anyone who wants to become referee. Like, why would you want to do this with people, like millionaires screaming in your face to fuck off? You'd feel like shit. Like maybe I should just fuck
nice
off.
Son.
Well, now to be fair, the clapping the decision has always been an immediate yellow card because, like, again,
you're being a child.
Fuck
That's
you, man. I'm not taking that. I'm not going to sarcastically clap in my face. Who the fuck do you think you are? I don't care who you are. Like, you don't do that to me. That's just, come on. But I guess it's like arguing the toss of like, that's a bad call, ref. How is that? I guess it's like, how is that a free? Do you want me to get the fucking rule book? Like, I mean, like it's just kind of really kind of what you mean. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a free. What are you doing? So to say that to him, like, what, maybe 6 or 7 times he went up to him, being like, how, ref? How? It's like,
where are you going? I'm coming at you.
What are you doing? Yeah. Like, fuck off. You fuck off. Here's the yellow. It was just crazy. So, yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, he was also part of the biggest gambling investigation there was over the last...
Which I think he was found not guilty of.
He was, because there's 4 counts of it. And they traced it back. What set it off was there was people in Brazil who were putting on like max bets of like on yellow cards in specific games and like random Premier League games. And then when they went to his phone, there's like loads of deleted messages to his mother, who was still living in Brazil. I think to that he said that he has a difficult family life between his mom and his dad, so that he didn't want to see. He didn't want one to see messages about whatever. I think that was his defense. Now they could retrieve all the messages, so there wasn't anything in there. But I mean, he was cleared of it. But yeah, well, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. He was cleared of it. It was suspicious.
It was
still
weird.
is.
Yeah.
They couldn't prove it. I think he was, you would say he was found not guilty rather than he was proven innocent. It wasn't like it was a setup or anything. It wasn't like, oh, actually they made it look like that, but really it was a gang who was trying to blackmail him. It was like, we'll never know. We can't know what happened, but there was a lot of people in Brazil betting on him getting yellow cards, and he did.
In games he got yellow cards, yeah. And this is where it gets kind of stranger again, because obviously you watch that and it's like, that is just a mad crash out from Paqueta for an extended period of time. And then after the game, he immediately goes on X or Instagram, maybe at a story, and he puts up a statement today, and then he put up another statement, or he put up a statement yesterday and then another one today, both equally as weird as the other. So yesterday's one, so right after the game, he has said, it's ridiculous to have your life and career affected for 2 years without any psychological support from the Federation. Perhaps this ridiculous behaviour is just a reflection of everything I've had to endure, and it seems have to continue enduring. I'm sorry I'm not perfect.
I mean, I'm assuming he's referring to the betting thing.
Yeah, he must be.
I mean, obviously everyone was accusing him of it, but he hasn't been like officially charged or anything. So he's just like going on what's been happening online. And he's like, this is bollocks, by the way. People are besmirching my good name, and the FA hasn't reached out to help me once.
But then he's like, and now I can't even argue with a ref without getting in trouble. It's like, yeah, but you were arguing with him for ages. Like, it wasn't a case of like you said one word to him. It's like, oh, yellow card for you, Paqueta. I know what you're like. It wasn't like that.
Yeah, I guess we are in a way jumping to conclusions, but it's not a far leap, to it's like the sheep thing, the other sheep thing.
Like, do you mean that people are sheep? Like,
no, it's like, you travel the world, you do work for charity, you raise a family, and you're a pillar of the community, but you shag one sheep, So maybe that's what he's talking about, that you have to like, one accusation about, 4 charges of gambling, and now I'm tired of that brush ever. I can't have one crash out, so I'm not perfect, okay? That I can't lose my mind on the pitch when we need a win badly. The sport is so cutthroat, like on the way up for like, if you're not good enough, like you get cut. Like players like, Declan Rice or any of the like former Chelsea boys who are now professional footballers at top clubs. It's like, at 14, it's like, get them out, not good enough. It's like, yeah, if you're going to lose your mind on the pitch, then yeah, maybe you're not cut out for this or whatever. So like to say like, oh, sorry, I'm not perfect. It's like, it is kind of an environment where you have to be perfect. Do you know what I mean? So like, if you're saying that it's not gambling, but I just, can completely lose my mind in the pressure moments, like, well, that's even worse in a way. Like at least we could help you with the gambling. But if you're just like,
I'm crazy, yeah.
Yeah, I might lose a game for you. It's like, that's not good. You can't do that. Like, you really can't do that. So I don't know what his defense is. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so like that was a statement yesterday. He put out another statement today. And he said, I understand that now I have to come across as the villain. It's hard to live with everything that was caused in my life. And this is in exclamation points. And in my psyche. I'll keep trying to ensure they don't affect me even more. This doesn't justify my expulsion, and that's why I apologize to the fans and my teammates. Which again, it's like, what are you talking? Like, you were arguing with a ref. Like, I don't see how the two come together. Like, I think he's making it out that like him getting a card for dissent is like the refs have it out for him now because they think he's guilty of this, or
he's
that
cheating.
or that he's even probably thinking, well, if I get a card for dissent, now it looks like I'm cheating again, and I wasn't ever cheating in the first place. So maybe it just really spirals. Like,
that's what he's trying to say to the refs. Like, you got to take that yellow back, or else I'm screwed. They're going to investigate me again.
I just deleted text from my ma this morning, and they were not connected to this.
Oh God, yeah. Maybe he's overthinking this. That's the problem. It's all just like, oh, well, now it looks even worse. They've set me completely off. I guess I don't know what's going to happen to him now. I mean, do West Ham do their own investigation or what? Like it's two things. One is like he's mentally unstable. He can't go out there. He's thinking about this scandal all the time. He can't. Like I said, that was a big game for them. That was a game of like 3 points that was really on the table for them. But they're only 1-0 down, and he gets sent off. Not always. I guess 10 men equals you're going to be better than the other team because I scored another goal after that, but. Or it's another betting thing, which is also bad. So yeah, it's not a good time for Paqueta to do this. Coming up to January transfer window, I could see maybe a loan move to Botafogo in the next month.
Not a good one. And I don't know if you saw that he was actually just back from suspension in that game, and now he's gone again. So I would imagine as well he's probably like one of their highest paid players at the club. So yeah, it must be pretty frustrating. And they're genuinely like in a relegation battle at the moment. So it's like, oh, we really could do with him, scoring every now and then rather than this, whatever this is.
Yeah, well, that's it as well. It's like you're probably going to be looking at relegation. If things don't improve, he is one of the better players when he's right, I suppose. So you do kind of need to keep him aside. If you were to sell him or put him alone in January, that might be like an absolute disaster for the dressing room. Like, oh my God, like we've lost one of our best players now as well. So maybe it's just like now on new note, like, listen, you have to get this guy right, and we have to start winning games also. So it's really not good for West Ham. They're the real losers in all this, I think. But yeah, look, however that case continues, we'll be covering that probably on Friday on our bonus episode. That is for ultras only. To become an ultra, very simple. There's no kind of induction or kind of hazing that goes on. Nothing like that. It's not a frat, it's an ultra section. You just kind of walk in and pay the price of admission like everyone else. $4.50 a month. So yeah, the link in the description, patreon.com/nononsensepod. Join up, and all our bonus episodes. We got cup games this week, or is it Champions League? We're back on Champions League.
Wait to hear this, Carl. We've got Premier League action tomorrow.
Oh, right. It's probably on right now, actually. If you're listening to this, maybe.
It could be on right now. Yeah, it's on Tuesday. We have entered the Man City bonus game round that we talked about.
Okay. This is where Arsenal typically drop points, these bonus games. So yeah, you want to see what happens with any of the Premier League games happen during the week. We'll catch up on the bonus episode, plus anything else that happens, maybe even stuff from further afield, like Troy Parrott and Evan Ferguson, both having shockers in their respective European games. This is the problem, Will, now. If we had lost that game
who cares?
Against Hungary, Troy Parrott disappears back to Amsterdam. I heard he's got a sweet step there, Will.
I saw that
because I think he lives in Amsterdam. Alkmaar is like 30 minutes outside of Amsterdam, but the train ground is 15 minutes in between both. So he lives in Amsterdam, 15 minutes to work, 15 minutes home, back like the nicest part of Amsterdam. I mean,
in a penthouse apartment, I'd imagine,
yeah. But instead, Will, when he goes to work and he has a bad day, everyone in Ireland is updated on it. Because we care now. We care. We care so much, Troy. We want you to succeed. So this is why it hurts so much to see you fail. Anyway, you didn't see it, which I don't know if you... There's probably a small Venn diagram. People listen to this podcast who aren't, watching reels of Troy Parrott failed Panenka penalty. But if you hadn't, it's one of the worst Panenka attempts I've seen. And a uniquely bad one at that.
Yeah, you never see no, it's not as embarrassing, I will say. The skied Panenka, it's pretty bad. The other option, though, of Panenkaing the ball lightly into the keeper's hands is much more embarrassing.
It's much more common, too, because if you're doing the Panenka, like, you're committing to, I'm going to run up really fast and I'm going to chip it down the middle. And the mistake people usually make is they don't run up fast enough. And if it's a good goalie, he goes, he's not run fast enough to hit this, so he's going to Panenka this. I'm going to stand right here, and they tips around, and they read the body language. What he did, obviously, was like, well, I don't want to make the mistake of not running fast enough. Ran too fast, and by the time he got to the ball, it was going. He had too much momentum to chip it, so when he went to chip it, it fucking flew over the top of the crossbar. I think the perfect Panenka is probably the Zidane one in 2006, because it was right off the bottom of the crossbar. Obviously, any more, it doesn't run in. So he was running so fast that Buffon's like, he's going to hit this. but then was still had the ability to stop and chip it. So it's not an easy skill to pull off, is all I'm saying. But nevertheless, it's I think any penalty that goes wide, if it's saved, it's like what can you do? But when it's, I think it was the Fulham game actually. I think Donnarumma saved a penalty. It was like a really good penalty, and he saved it right back into the middle of the goal, and he just like taps in again. But like usually it's not that bad when it's saved. But when you put it wide, it's like, oh man, what can you do? And the other players were kind of in his face afterwards. You see that?
Yeah, so I was wondering what was going on about that. So he skies the penalty head and hands, and so there's two things going on. One, that was his third missed penalty in a row for AZ. Well, I was thinking, it's like, good he's on penalties, though. Not good that it's slowly chipping away at his confidence, but good that they trust him to do it. But the reason the opposing players, were really right in his face after was, I think he dove to get the penalty in the 94th minute, and it would have been a great injustice if he'd scored it. And then you have to think, if he had a Panenka after as well, that would have been just like, the fact he tried to do it really shows where his head is at. It's like, I'm gonna fucking give it to these lads. So yeah, I think they were letting him have it. That, like, you cheeky bastard, who the fuck do you think you are? That'll teach you. But again, not great. March is still a while away though, so look, he'll surely get one before then. He'll have more penalties, although maybe not anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, 3 in a row. Sure, he's time to give it to somebody else, but he's been scoring for them, so maybe trust him a bit long with it. But I did see some of his teammates as well. As soon as it happened, they just turned away in disgust. They're like, "Oh, fuck's sake!" Like, they didn't go over and like, it's all right. They were like, "Fuck this guy." I don't know. I mean, I'm reading too much into this, Will, but I was just like, this is. I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
I don't like that either. Yeah, I do think a lot of it is, like, again, I've never thought of how embarrassing. Like, it's bad when you miss a Panenka, especially a 94th minute winner with, like, potential winning.
Oof, doesn't get worse. Yeah.
But I've never thought of your teammates seeing that and going, "You fucking idiot, just rifle it." Like, you're a striker. Why are you trying to be clever? And, like, why are you trying to be cheeky? I did see people on Twitter retweeting it and sharing it, and definitely not Irish people, but they're like, believing his own hype and stuff like that. It's like, oh God, Troy.
Yeah, you usually kind of scroll by the stuff like fucking losers, but then when it's happened with someone you care about, it's like, no. It's like a family member. It's like, oh, this is awful. God, I can't even say that about him. But yeah, the Panenka, we've probably talked about this before, but I don't know if it's always about being cheeky or like being, I'm going to really score this penalty.
Sometimes it's just like, well, the keeper's never going to expect that. So, like, why wouldn't you try it now and again?
Yeah, or for the last penalties, I've gone left. And we all know that the keepers study the penalty taker. So thinking, I haven't done a Panenka all season, and I bet he hasn't looking at that penalty. So, like, it won't be on it won't be on the test, or sorry, it won't be on his notes for the test. If you think this will be a complete, out of left field, he'll have to be a really good goalie to save this. It could just be that as well. Again, I always remember Pirro saying this about Joe Hart in the 2012 Euros, I think it was. And Joe Hart was at the peak of his, like, head boy energy, like, tall, kind of confident, cocky, kind of like Pickford, I guess. And he was really good as well. And I don't know how he saved a penalty in that shootout, but he was doing a lot. And I think maybe in his biography or whatever, maybe just in an interview, Pirro said that he knew that he was too amped up. He was over and back. When I go to kick this, he will dive early to try and get there. So if I just chip on the middle, he'll have no chance. He'll be halfway across the goal before I even kick it. So, maybe it can be that as well. I don't know if it's like, because it's like if a goalie is being whatever rude to you, or the other team is like in your face, just scoring the penalty is enough.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to chip it like, oh, this still shows. Like, if I just score the penalty, that'll shut them up. Like, it doesn't need to be anything more than that. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's ever that, but it always gets that reaction like, oh yeah, why are you trying to be clever?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
To score the goal, that's what I'm trying to be clever. What you mean? And then it was the Roma versus Napoli game. I think it's a top of the table clash as well. Ferguson starts but gets hooked at half time without really contributing to the score sheet at least. But how's Adamita doing? Where's he at these days?
Where is Adamita actually? Adamita.
Last I saw, he was at Celtic, but I don't know if he's still there, is he?
He is currently at Swansea. How many goals has he scored? Let's look it up real quick. We might need him.
Did he score this weekend?
Yeah, let's hope. 14 games, 2 goals, 1 assist. Not
in the
this
Championship
week also.
or in the League One?
In the Championship.
No, that's not too bad.
It's something.
It's something. No, like I say, it's a long time till March, so hopefully the lads can get their confidence back. Look, we win as a team, we lose as a team. Well, it won't just be on Troy Parrott. Although if he does miss a penalty like that, I think people might turn on him. That's what I'm saying.
They'd be quick to turn.
But yeah, like I said, we got Premier League happening tomorrow. It is Monday right now, but it's Tuesday, it's Wednesday. As we've seen, people download these episodes months, sometimes years after the date. So, the games that we're talking about.
Who are you?
Listen, we all got voices in our head. It's just if they have to be ours, then so be it. If you want the voices in the head to be us, anytime you want. There's a big backlog there on Spotify. So,
I do think a lot of those people are. The way our titles are normally just like Arsenal, blah blah blah, Man United, blah blah blah. I think people like Spotify goes, this is probably about this week, and people listen to it, and they're probably 10 minutes in before they're like, what the hell are they talking about?
Ibrahimovic, he doesn't play there anymore. What year is this from?
What did I miss? Who are these two?
This feels like there is some nonsense in this, even though the title would say that there isn't. It seems to be mostly nonsense. Well, look, if you've been wrongly put this in front of you and you're still listening, fair play. For anyone else, like say, the link to Patreon is in the description of this episode. Feel free to sign up. But if not, we will see you again next week for more exciting football news and reviews. In a no-nonsense kind of a way. Don't forget, that's the theme. I heard another podcast of these two guys, and like, obviously, you can't just say, I want to have a chat with my friend on the couch. We have to have some kind of, theme behind our podcast. And I was like, what's he talking about? I was like, for a company. The company's doing it like, it's it wasn't just, it's like, yeah, you can. That's the whole point. It's not, Will. No one is doing a podcast unless they're getting paid to do it anymore. It's only us who's left. The last independent podcast. Put that in the title. We're indie, baby.
Definitely the last independent football podcast. There's the world's only non-professional football podcast.
Do you know what? I would hazard a guess. This might get specific now, but I would say the last remaining English-speaking, professional, non-sponsored, non-company led, football podcast. Well, maybe not last, but longest running. Okay, let me rephrase that again.
For sure.
Longest running, non-affiliated,
independent,
English-speaking, independent football podcast. That's us. And we'll never change. We got the ball coming. We got Acast. We got fucking, they're all knocking down our door. We're saying, no, we're not sellouts. We're indie.
No, never.
We're not going to sell out to anybody for nothing. So, we're member-led, independent, off the grid.
Unless.
Talking about the Premier League. So that's us. So feel free to sign up and support the last, or maybe even the longest running independent football English-speaking podcast in Western Europe that there is. And if not...
Definitely Ireland.
If not, keep listening for free. Doesn't matter.
Independent, you can do whatever you like.
Yeah, you're independent too. That's the thing. That's the double-edged sword. They're independent, we're independent. So you just gotta roll with the punches sometimes. So yeah, look.
Sometimes we're under an umbrella. Yeah, of course.
Look, when I say never, anyways, it's 9:00 and I have my real job tomorrow, so I'm gonna go.
Same. Same.
Thanks everybody for listening. Have a great week. We'll see the Ultras on Friday. Everyone else, see you next week. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many, many garbage things.
You don't know what you're going to get.